There's a new boy about weirdos who do like young blood transfusions. Which there's like one guy in particular who I'm sure is going to be featured in that video, who literally is also on reportedly, admittedly, what he describes as a low dose of estrogen, of estradiol, which is like fucking hilarious, because like that's what's making him look younger. That's what it is literally. I don't know whether it's he likes the youthful appearance and it helps reinforce the image that he's trying to put forward of like getting younger through this medical intervention or whatever. I don't know what all of his internal motivations are for this, but it's incredibly fucking funny to me that he's on E for this. That's just fucking hilarious to me. So I guess maybe we'll get into that. We'll get into that, and then we'll watch the Chubby Emu, since both of those are sort of medical related. And then we'll probably watch the Brutal Moose thing. So let's do it.
I know what you're thinking. You're looking at him, and you're thinking, you are disgusting.
Look at this old piece of shit.
You're probably the ugliest man I've ever seen. But the joke's actually on you.
Look at this old man.
He spent a lot of money and did a very invasive and dangerous procedure to look like this.
Yeah, what is going on? Yeah, his face actually looks really fucking bad. Looks like he's breaking out or something.
All the rich people are doing in Hollywood. They're all injecting themselves.
Because he doesn't normally look like this. That's the thing. He does not normally look like, he doesn't have like cystic acne or anything. Yeah, is it like the chemical? He looks like he took that chemical peel from that scary short that we watched a while back. It looks like he put that fucking like industrial acid solvent or whatever on his head.
With young people's blood.
Imagine if you could turn back the clock 5, 10, even 15 years. And
You can't though. You can't. I'm sorry. It's not the blood. This is like actually medieval shit. This seems like something they would have believed in the plague times. Okay? You do not gain any youth from injecting a young person's blood. Okay, there may be some antibodies in there. They may have like healthier red blood cells than you have, but at the end of the day, the effects of that are going to be minuscule and very short-lived. So like it's not going to extend your lifespan. Like, and I don't think any of the medical like literature has shown a link to that either. So it's not just me being like a negative Nancy doubter or whatever. I think the actual science is basically there's nothing there as well. Those telomeres do still be shortening, unfortunately. Like, as much as I applaud attempts to find, the fountain of youth and extend people's lives, I think it's deeply unhealthy for people to constantly, in their minds, fly by the seat of their pants thinking that they're like beating the clock, thinking that they're beating death. I think the same shit about like the cryonics freaks, as well as like there's sort of an element of this in a lot of religious aspects as well, where it's like none of you are confronting the reality that you're gonna die one day, and that can't be healthy. Like, it's much, much better to live your life knowing that eventually it is likely to end, and to prepare for that and to live like you understand that, than to constantly be in this like time trial, trying to figure out how do I avoid death. Okay? Like, it is, and it can be incredibly fucking stressful to think about, because we're like, our brains aren't equipped to confront that, but you at least need to, on some surface level, understand that like none of us, even the ones who figure out immortality, okay, because the heat death of the universe will one day occur, all right? All of us will one day no longer be here, and we need to prepare for that on some level, at the very least, just on the surface. You don't have to confront the brutal reality of it. Just be like, yeah, someday I'm not going to be here. That's it.
Reverse the effects of aging.
What if you could reverse the aging process simply by getting a blood
I fucking
transfusion?
Benjamin Buttoned myself. Or something like,
They have found
like
a
what?
real fountain of youth. And
No, they have not. None of these reports are fucking worth a good goddamn. This is all horseshit.
So apparently,
This is all
rich people are
horseshit.
becoming literal vampires and injecting themselves with young people's blood. And since we're rich YouTubers, we want to see what it's all about and try to get some of that sweet, sweet young blood for ourselves. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds fake, right? Like, the only other content creators out there who talk about blood harvesting are guys like this.
Now, these are two vampires that trained in this, who did all this to reportedly thousands of babies. Total, they sold to other men like Bill Gates and others.
Adrenochrome. Harvesting.
And Epstein was doing it to at Zorro Ranch.
They smell like sulfur.
Literally wanting to suck babies dry and pump it into these men's veins.
Now, it may sound like a right-wing conspiracy theory, and that's mainly because that's exactly what it is.
It is a right-wing conspiracy theory, but there are also people who are kind of right-wing, who, or at the very least, are very wealthy and maybe have some liberal leanings, but are mostly benefiting from sort of the hyper right-wing ideology that currently dominates the Western world. But like, they kind of took that and they were like, maybe there's something to it. They heard that shit. They were like, okay, but does that work though? They heard the fucking adrenochrome shit. They were like, wait, so you said they think it makes them live forever? Does it work?
You look past all their stories about mythical demons and their tendency to, blame it all on the homosexuals. We found that there's actually a nugget of truth to
Exactly. Thank you. They're the types of right-wingers who are like, no, I'm not a vampire. How could I possibly be a vampire? I'm white. You can only be a vampire if you're Romanian.
Fucking gender ambiguity!
Mooksy, thank you for the sub. Or for the gifty.
vampire conspiracy theories. We should probably be taking these guys a little more seriously.
Californian textbooks for 8th graders officially have blood drinking and vampirism as part of sexual pleasure, taught for multiple pages.
I'm gonna be honest, dog. I don't believe you. I don't even need to see the book. I think you're lying. I don't think that's true. Sure, Jan. Yeah, literally. Like, look, that's one of those claims someone can make. I do not need to disprove that, and I don't need any evidence for or against it. That is so fucking insane. It cannot be true. It simply cannot be as Alex claims it is. And it just so happens as well that, like, Alex Jones is like a serial liar. He is a prolific fucking liar, just in general, as literal courts have found. But, like, if you listen to the fucking Knowledge Fight is a podcast that for several hours every week, they do several episodes a week, and their episodes are like 2 hours long. They just cover everything that Alex is talking about, like, both now and in the past. And it's incredible. They go so in depth. These guys have into their brains processed so much of the words that Alex Jones has ever said. Like, there's no way it's not doing immeasurable amounts of harm. Like they're probably getting the like spongiform decay in their brains, like when you have a prion disease, except they don't have a prion. They've just been listening to too much Alex Jones, and it's like deleting brain cells.
Okay, I mean, you don't have to take them seriously.
Spongiform degeneration.
Talk about vampires. Now, what do we think of when we think of vampires? Maybe we think of
This was camp, by the way. He's leaning into the gay frog bit. That's just camp. This is camp.
Okay, I mean, you don't have to take them seriously, but we should still definitely talk about
People aren't going to like that I said that, but it's
now,
true.
What do we think of when we think
And it's
of
okay for me to say that because he is a chaser. So, like, it can only really be camp if it's like, gay people doing it, gay people participating, and, he's a chaser, which makes him gay.
Maybe we think of Tom Cruise giving Brad Pitt a hickey during Hollywood's first anti-gravity gay sex scene.
He is an entertainer, first and foremost.
Otherwise, normal guy who gets shiny sometimes. But in early Gothic literature, all vampires had one thing in common.
Chasers get to be honorary LGBT. Anyway, none of that's serious. None of that is serious. Please don't cancel me.
To Countess Karnstein to Dracula, they were all just rich people, just awful aristocrats who lived in fancy castles and sucked the blood of
Nothing I ever say is serious, by the way, except when it is serious, and I'm going to leave it up to you to decide when I'm joking and when I'm being serious.
in order to give
It's
themselves
up to the viewer's
superpowers,
discretion.
like, I don't know, eternal
to
life,
internalize
or the ability to make
what's
anyone
what.
around them ejaculate on command.
Come.
You know, in a time of crazy wealth inequality and non-stop revolutions against a class of rich, parasitic aristocrats,
French
it's no
ladies'
coincidence
titties,
that
you
the
can't show
vampire
that.
Became a cultural phenomenon, and these cultural symbols had real world
TOS,
effects.
dude.
Like people legitimately believed that vampires existed, like Countess Elizabeth Bathory, who was arrested.
Imagine seeing like the flag of the state of Virginia and being like, oh, TOS, bro.
1614 because the court found she had killed
Dude,
and
that's
tortured
pornography.
hundreds of young peasant girls and bathed in their blood as part of a demonic ritual to keep her young. But since then, some stuff happened and people stopped believing in magical demons for the most part.
Well,
So vampires became a relic of old superstition. But in the 1950s, they started to become real again. At Cornell University, a bunch of scientists got bored. You know, the last cool thing that happened was the invention of the atomic bomb 5 years beforehand, and scientists needed new and exciting avenues for their bloodlust. So they decided to sew these two innocent mice together for no reason. But it turns out they discovered something called
someone cranked it to the flag of Virginia. Yeah, how many like Virginian teenagers got their start because they had like the state flag in the classroom? How many like 8th grade Virginian boys were just like looking at that thing like losing their goddamn minds? Lord knows I would have been. Okay, I would have been.
If you connect the arteries between an old mouse and a young mouse, then the blood of the young mouse makes
The amount of
old mouse
testosterone right in that like early stage of puberty for those boys is just out of control. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is up with that? That shit sucks. That shit sucks.
younger for about 2 weeks, after which both mice died from a mystery illness.
Like, I don't know about any of you guys who happen to unfortunately go through an androgenic puberty like I did, but for like a solid 8 years, it was unbearable. If I even thought about a boobie, it was over for the day.
And they stopped doing these horrible experiments. I know. It's devastating. The mice are no more, but history moves on.
I masturbated to a map once because the front page had a lady with big boobs on it. Lol. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's insane. I understand.
On. Fast forward to 2018 in Vancouver to something called the Superhuman Summit. This is a place where rich people who don't.
All right, you want to hear my dumbest? I never. This is not a jerk off story at all, but there was my family would go to a specific Mexican restaurant in town for a while that in the men's bathroom had this like sort of tile around. It was like tiles that had little pictures on them around the bathroom mirror, and one of the tiles, like way up in the fucking corner or whatever, happened to feature like a very like, it was tasteful painting of like a woman whose breasts happened to be out. And I would make like, it might have even been like a mermaid or something. I don't know. But it was like a painting, but it was on these tiles. And it was like this really small, it was maybe like a 2 or 3 inch tile that the entire picture was on. And like I used to make extra trips to the bathroom. I used to like drink extra water and you know, wash my hands extra long so I could go in there and look at that picture.
Problems are looking to invest.
And I would have been like 12. I don't know.
New procedures to make themselves live forever. They listen to talks from people who call themselves genetic stewards or sonic healers, telling you all these expensive, futuristic ways to increase your Brian power. And that's where Dr. Jesse Karmazin comes up to give the speech that would kickstart his career as a
like I was not
prestigious
tall enough to view that tile at the angle that it would have been intended to, because I was so young at the time. I would have been like probably like 4'11".
empire.
Hello, my name is Jesse Karmazin, and as you heard,
I was a really late bloomer when it came to height as well, so I just knew I was short at the time.
Which is a good pivot because his career
Short
as
as
a doctor
hell.
wasn't really going too well. He was barred from practicing medicine after a mysterious incident in Massachusetts, but we don't know what that was or why. But you know what? We don't need to know. It's probably irrelevant. Here he is talking about an intrusive medical procedure that promises to make you live forever.
Elizabeth Bathory was actually executed for bathing in the blood of young women. And as our science is now demonstrating, well, there probably was a fact to these vampire legends. It probably worked.
You know they're like weirdo far-right online Nazis who are losing their absolute minds at these triangles in the background. You just know they're absolutely frothing at the fact that these triangles vaguely at certain angles look kind of like a Star of David. Or like, I know that there are a lot of Nazis who consider the triangle to be just like a PDF file symbol, which is insane because it's a symbol for the gay community. The triangle is because of the square, the fucking patches, the triangular patches that were put on gay people during the Holocaust. So it's like, it's not.
What's up? I got banned. Why I probably said something stupid. PLS unbound. I want to say smart things in chat.
Good lord. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is ban you from donating as well.
Demonstrating, well, there probably was a fact.
And then I'll assess your punishment.
Legends. It probably works.
We'll see. Probably not, though.
Funnily enough, all the rich people at the Superhuman Summit didn't have any issues with the idea of emulating a monstrous, mythical 17th century vampire. The important question for them was, does being an evil vampire actually work? And as proof of his vampire procedure, he pointed to the same dodgy mouse experiment from the 1950s.
He found that the old mouse, which received the blood of the young mouse, became young again. So its gray hair turned black. It could remember mazes better. Its heart pumped better. In fact, in every way, it became young again.
And that was it. Ambrosia was booming. He started
That's crazy.
serving customers.
That's crazy. So, like, these old people that are getting these young blood transfusions, their hair goes from gray to whatever color it was originally, and their memories and everything, like, fucking come back? Is that... No, that's not what's fucking happening. They're still old.
Valley and then spread all across America, charging.
Have they tried rat blood? Thank you. That is the important question. They need to do it with rat blood.
$1,000 for him to inject you with 2 liters of blood plasma harvested from a young person. Now, look, I'm not a doctor, and I guess neither is Karmazin, but that sounds like a crazy amount of blood to inject into someone, right? I mean, considering your body's already filled to the brim with approximately 5 liters of your own blood. So the question now is, who are Ambrosia's customers? Who are these vampires, these people who walk among us as modern-day versions of 17th century aristocrats, filling themselves to the brim with liters and liters of young blood? It turns out they're called tech bros. They are future-focused entrepreneurs who make more money than you could ever imagine. They're violently ambitious, but they've got one big problem. They've already reached...
Oh, I see what this ban was. Like, why was your first message in my chat? Let me just read this for all of you. Why was your first message in my chat? Hello, guys. How are you all? Good. I have some very good investment opportunity regarding Slovakian mortgage funds. Hit me up. What did you expect to happen? Stewie Griffin PFP. That's pretty good though. Like, what did you expect to happen? Like, genuinely curious, even though there's not really a lot of avenues for you to answer me right now because you're still banned. And also I banned you from donating. But like, I don't know how you could expect a streamer to see this as your first message in chat while I'm like, it was right when I sat down on Sunday, about to get off the starting soon screen, about to actually start. So it was like in the time where like, ooh, streamer's not here, let me sneak this one in or whatever. Like, how do you expect me to interpret this? So I'm not going to unban you. I'm not, because at the end of the day, this is a community where, you know, I'm in control. And if I feel like someone's even maybe not worth my time, why would I give them that time? You know, if I feel like someone is likely to test my patience like you've already exhibited, like, why would I allow you to hang around? Anyway.
The top. No one's limiting the amount of money they can steal. They control
when I have full control over the interactions that I go through with this, and I'm live 32 hours a week, so like my patience is paramount to making this machine run. Okay, this is a well-oiled machine, and the lubricant in those gears is my ability to tolerate, whatever minor annoyances may come up in my chat. Why would I introduce intentionally more annoyances? From someone who otherwise has not been a normal chatter. Like, at the very least, a lot of the minor annoyances that I have to deal with are from chatters who I already know and appreciate their contributions otherwise to the community. I don't fucking know you.
Starter, they can even promote or censor information at
Which is to
will.
say, if you're a new chatter, be normal. If you're a new chatter, be normal for a while before you start testing me. Joan is a machine that turns frozen pizza into love content. That's right. We turn frozen pizzas into peace and love.
They've simply run out of things to dominate. The only things still out of their control are the laws of nature. And
I'm a fucking well-oiled machine that turns frozen pizza and snack cakes and protein shakes into good vibes. Do I schizo post much? No. You're not a notorious chatter in my mind. There's very few, actually.
Paid billions of their tax-free
And even then,
dollars into
the notorious
extending-
chatters still get to stay around. It's just like, if I remember you for reasons that are like kind of annoying, I'm just going to factor that into, how I treat you and how I moderate your behavior in my chat. But ultimately, like, you still got to be upfront really weird in order to just eat a ban outright. You got to be like that. You got to come in, like, drop some shady shit right off the bat. Like, I straight up thought that was a bot. That's why I banned that person. But now that I know that's a person, I'm double banning them. I'm banning you a second time.
Their own lives at any cost.
Came in hot like a bot.
Now, I don't want to get sued here, right? I should say that it's very difficult to prove that anyone's actually a vampire. Like, while the majority of their
losing the appeal. Take that one to the Supreme Court, Buster.
rich guys in Silicon Valley,
they'll probably rule against me.
Out there publicizing their love of young blood. It's all just allegations and hearsay. But there is some evidence for one modern vampire. He happens to be a famous, controversial right-wing tech billionaire who co-founded PayPal and grew up in South Africa. You guessed it, it's Peter Thiel. This guy funds every far-right political candidate he can find, and on top of that, he designed the world's most terrifying surveillance tool for the CIA, which he calls Palantir, which is not too dissimilar to his other projects, Mithril Capital, Lembus LLC, Rivendell LLC. These are real companies that he founded. He's not just an evil billionaire trying to control the world, he's also a massive nerd, which, let's be real, is much worse. But if his resume wasn't blood-soaked enough, he also contacted Ambrosia to become a vampire.
And you think that you may live to 120?
I certainly hope to, yes. Trying to live for a very long time. You've invested in a number of these companies. There have been articles about you with young blood and doing all sorts of crazy things.
See, now I know how
their
Alex
unban request message was, yeah, please unban. I don't know what that was. Like, I don't know either. No.
feels. Once you find out about these vampires, you start seeing them everywhere. I can't even have a nice evening to myself for a little bit of, me time without seeing vampires.
This intimate of a
No, don't give Molly that. Ball Fondler is like a legend. All right? There's a lot of artistry that goes into creating a figure like Ball Fondler that if you, like, I'm not gonna put Molly down and be like, oh, but Molly's not that. But if you give Molly that kind of credit, that will only empower her. And the thing about Ball Fondler is, like, Ball Fondler's not around most of the time. Remains in legend. Molly will continue to see, she can push the boundary. Molly's a persistent chatter, and Ball Fondler is less, even though a lot of the lack of persistence is largely because Ball Fondler was banned in Sherma's chat. They're not the same. These are not the same thing.
Where you're exchanging biofluids.
This is the guy that's on E, by the way. This is the guy that's on estrogen in order to make himself look younger. And let me tell you, it shows. It shows dude looks like also he's probably on a very regimented skincare routine, which I think, and maybe even has like some foundation on for a lot of these media spots, just to really like, I think he's trying to sell people on the idea that he's like actually getting younger, but the only thing he's actually changing is like his skin is clear, which is like cool, good for you, man, but like you ain't fooling us. You ain't fooling the hyper online trans people. All right? We see you getting younger and your skin getting a little paler, maybe even thinner, and like we know what's going on here. All right? We saw that E from a mile away. You didn't even have to tell us. But it ain't making you literally younger.
I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm excited.
This guy's just like
grateful,
trying tooth and nail to defy twink death, truly.
Did as a family.
By like injecting blood from his twink son.
You just end up getting a video of a guy harvesting his son's blood to see if it'll make him younger.
What a great experience.
Wow. Thanks for giving me your blood, son. Thanks for giving me your blood, son, for no reason other than I just kind of wanted to see what would happen. I didn't need it. There was no medical necessity for this procedure. I just felt like it would make me live longer, but we'll never really know for sure whether or not this specific aspect of all the shit that he's doing, there's no way to know that the blood from his fucking son is the thing that did it. He's also doing a bunch of other shit. So even if he does manage to extend his life expectancy, let's say 20 years. Let's say this guy lives to be 110. Okay? Even then, like, we don't know whether, maybe he just had like really lucky genes. Maybe he just like, maybe it was part of his lifestyle. We will never know truly how much of this was effective because it's just the one guy. It's a one guy. He's the ultimate one guy.
This guy's actually a YouTuber, and we invited him to collab on this video.
For the 100,000th.
Holy shit, wait, what's his? Brian Johnson. Fucking boring ass name. Boring ass name. Maybe we watch a little bit of this.
This one is
the world's most measured human.
YouTuber, and we invited him to collab on this video.
For the 100,000th subscriber, I will give you 1 liter of my plasma. Subscribe below.
For how long did Kane beat his brother? As long as he was able. Is that it? I've never heard that joke before. I was just guessing. I'm sorry if I ruined the punchline. I was just trying to guess what the punchline would be.
He's the ex-CEO of Venmo, and just like the other millionaire tech bros, he's now on a quest to reverse his age. He's 45, but apparently he's got the heart of a 37.
Like, that's kind of rude if you think about it. Like, if you've ever been on the receiving end of that, where you try to set up a joke for someone, especially if you're telling a joke to several people and one person gets it, or one person, like, already knows it and interjects with the punchline, like, that's totally rude to do. And so, like, that's why I immediately apologize for that, because that's actually... for me to just start guessing like that. I guess I'm the streamer, you know. I get to determine what the timing of any and all jokes in this community are, but just so you know, if some of you are like too socially awkward to understand that may be kind of a little bit of a dick move, it's like a very minor one. It kind of is, though. It definitely feels bad to the person telling the joke.
The lung capacity of an 18-year-old and the penis of a 5-year-old. Unfortunately, Brian...
Wait, excuse me? I like paused to talk about some shit and I feel like I missed some crucial context. Hold on a second. Can we run that back? I'm gonna go back like 30 fucking seconds.
This guy's actually a YouTuber, and we invited him.
I'm gonna go way back.
For the 100,000th subscriber, I will give you 1 liter of my plasma. Subscribe below.
His name is Brian Johnson. He's
you drink it? Like, what do you do with that?
Ex-CEO of Venmo, and just like the other millionaire tech bros, he's now on a quest to reverse his age. He's 45, but apparently he's got the heart of a 37-year-old, the lung capacity of an 18-year-old, and the penis of a 5-year-old. unfortunately, Brian backed out of the collab when we told him that our video wasn't
Okay, makes
necessarily
sense
going
now.
to be pro blood harvesting. But we're going off topic.
Okay,
here.
that
Back to
braid
Ember.
though that he's got going on there too. Okay, this guy's just like the ultimate repressing man motor. I think that's what's happening here. Yeah, guys, I'm on a really low dose of E just to make myself look younger. That's it. Don't mind me. Just like this is the ultimate repression pilled man motor.
Broja. Things were going great for Karmazin. The only slight hiccup happened when one of his patients died.
I'm surprised he's not like trying to inject like specifically female blood into his body to see if like, oh, I'm just, because I heard that, because women live like on average a little bit longer than men. I thought maybe this would help me live longer.
To like any serious businessman would by claiming that the patient faked their own death and sending multiple emails threatening to sue the journalists who broke the story. And then when they showed him the death certificate, he admitted, in light of a death certificate, I have to agree that this patient is dead. So yeah, someone died after doing this experimental procedure, right? So the government has to step in and do something about it. So the FDA warns everyone. It turns out putting 2 liters of someone else's blood inside of you is really dangerous. And there's no actual evidence that having all that foreign blood inside you does anything good. So Ambrosia lost its FDA-approved certification.
How did it get it in the first place?
Karmazin, right? Well, not really, right? Here's the beauty of doing business in a capitalist society. The rules are fake, right?
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever you want. The government can't really stop you.
As long as the service, like the company offering the service, doesn't claim that it has specific health benefits, as long as they just vaguely gesture to the effects of it, you can just put anything in your body. The FDA cannot stop a company from selling you snake oil so long as they don't specifically say it cures something.
Amazon just started another off-label business called Ivy Plasma, servicing the same clients, using the same buildings, essentially exactly the same business. He just didn't have a little sticker that said FDA approved, but he could just keep doing what he was doing. So now the question is, where's this blood coming from? How does he keep getting access to this blood?
I firmly believe that the FDA should have significantly more power than it does. There's the COVID fucking shit had a lot of people feeling like, a lot of right-wingers were like, oh, the FDA is too powerful. They greenlit this early or whatever. It's like, no, we should give the FDA more power. Okay? I trust their judgment on basically everything. And oftentimes when they either have some missteps, make mistakes, or whatever, it's because they don't have enough resources to actually do the thing right. But at its core, the FDA is it's literally there to make sure you don't fucking die. That is the one kind of regulation that everybody should be on board with is don't let people lie to you and sell you poison. And make sure that we greenlight the stuff that's actually good. I think one of the biggest missteps of the FDA is that cyproterone acetate is still not approved in the United States for transgender healthcare. And that's probably just because they don't have the resources to go back and give it a second look, because literally every other industrialized nation has approved it. Everyone except the United States. And it's a significantly better anti-androgen than anything we have here. Anything. We're all pissing on Spyro because of that, essentially. But yeah, there are complications, as with most medications. If you have certain counter risks or whatever, if you have certain conditions, then cyproterone acetate may not be the anti-androgen for you. But generally speaking, it's a safer and more effective anti-androgen than fucking Spyro. The dosage at which we have to take Spyro in order for it to be an effective anti-androgen is fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
Well, apparently he just buys it from blood banks. I didn't even know you could do that. It turns out, since American blood banks are for-profit private businesses, they don't necessarily need to sell the donated blood to hospitals for, boring things like life-saving medical treatments. No, they just sell it to the highest bidder, which oftentimes happens to be dumb, rich vampires. Which sounds wild, but it gets even crazier. The US is also one of the only countries in the world that pays people for blood donations, which actually sounds kind of nice, until you think about it for about 5 seconds. You see, These blood banks are pretty much exclusively located in the poorest parts of America. If you're struggling to make ends meet and you come across a billboard saying we'll literally buy your blood, chances are you're going to start draining as many liters of blood as you can, which is great for the blood banks.
Yeah, shout out to the plasma donors in my chat who are, you know, making a little extra money on the side. I know Charlie does it. Or I've heard Charlie talk about it. I've done it before. It's fine. How does it work? You show up, do like a little preliminary examination, sit there for an hour with a needle in your arm, go home. They give you like $50 or whatever, however much they give you. Does it hurt? Do they take a lot? They take a surprising amount of plasma. I will say, I was kind of bemused a little bit by the volume of plasma that they can take from you without it having that much of an effect, because plasma is just like the fluid, not the cells. So they're putting all the red blood cells and everything back into your body. They're just taking like the water. So as long as you're like, or essentially most of it's water, as long as you're hydrated and whatnot, your body is going to be able to replenish that fairly quickly, compared to say like red blood cells, which have a much slower regeneration process. Yeah, you don't need a lot of your plasma apparently, or at least, you know, you can lose a fair amount of the plasma as long as the blood cells are still there, and those are what carry the oxygen. That's like the most important purpose your blood serves, is to carry oxygen to the rest of your body, and the total capacity of oxygen carrying cells doesn't change basically. So yeah, donating plasma is cool if you want. I don't know, if you're able.
Safety net. Every time there's an economic crisis, the blood industry's profits essentially quadruple. It was worth $4 billion before the GFC, and now after COVID, it's worth $48 billion. So we decided to head down to the ghetto to see.
Anyway, if you want to see the availability of cyproter and acetate, I wanted to see the map. Here it is. As you can see, like all of Europe, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, pretty much all of South America, Australia, New Zealand, China, Russia. And a lot of like South Asia, if prescribed with an estrogen. No America. Not America though. Sucks. Feels bad, man.
American blood donation is all about. Now, we quickly learned that we can't donate since we don't have an American Social Security number, and the fake number I gave them didn't work. So we decided to just hide around the corner and ask donors about it.
So how long have you been donating plasma?
I've been on and off for about, I would say, 10
Some
years.
noisy audio.
Wow, veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? Is it...
So they stick the needle in your arm. You never get used to getting poked.
And you'll probably feel a little dizzy.
Feeling woozy or lightheaded?
I mean, I try to take a break like 3 to 6 months in between.
Yeah.
Because your arm gets kind of tired after a while.
Yeah. Now, everyone seemed to be here for the same reason.
So they needed money.
Here,
That's at the end of the day.
Bills paid for the most part.
That's the sad thing. It's like it is a useful thing that they're doing, and this like does have, you know, some positive benefits for the healthcare community and on other people's lives. But ultimately, we're extracting plasma out of people's bodies because they're poor and they need the money. And that sucks. That does suck. Seen a lot of mainstream movies I'd never pay to see because of plasma donating. The one and only time I ever watched The Princess Bride was while I was donating plasma when I was 18. And that's true. Inconceivable.
Here, so like the food has gone up, the prices, the gas.
I'm not disparaging it. I'm just saying that's the only time I've seen it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good for people who are trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So these people resort to selling their blood to make ends meet. But the wild part here is that everyone we spoke to was already working a full-time job.
I have a full-time job as a security guard, so this is just something to help me have a little bit of extra money.
When I first started, I had first graduated high school, and I worked at Macy's, and I worked at Burger King.
Yeah.
2 jobs and they're still donating plasma. We live in hell.
Gender ambiguity!
Liliana, thank you for those big gifties. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of big chatters in there. Look at that. But yeah, like, we live in hell. We've got people working 2 jobs and they still have to donate plasma. The gift subs are discounted? Oh, that's right. You want to support the broadcast. It's the last week of September. September. I didn't say September. September. And I believe in the last week, gift subs are like additionally discounted. So like fucking give me some gifties if you want. Anyway. Yeah, we live in hell. People working 2 jobs still got to donate plasma to just make ends meet. And that fucking blows. When there are so many fucking people who have just there's like, I guess, a handful, a couple thousand people who have an unfathomable amount of money. They're like, the amount that those people have and the amount that we spend on like the military and shit and for a whole bunch of other neoliberal bullshit that could be going to just like make people's life better. The amount of just money that's out there not being spent and not being used when there are people suffering is enough to just like, let's just do away with money, please. It's obviously whatever we thought it was supposed to do, it's not doing that anymore. Now it's just making people suffer. Let's just stop the money stuff. Let's stop it with the whole money thing.
I'm a caregiver.
Oh, wow.
So I like my job. I like helping people. So
Yeah. No, it's always so nice helping people. I guess it just doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Like money is on its surface. The idea of currency is just like, oh, it's just a stand-in so that you can exchange goods and services with people. It's like, okay, that seems fine. And then you just kind of like let money wander around for long enough. The idea of money gets to exist in society for long enough. And it, for a very small portion of the population, becomes a fucking game. And then for like 50 to 75% of the rest of the population, it becomes a fucking prison. Like, it's not good. It's a bad thing. I think we as a society should go back to a time where we didn't have it. You know, we should maybe do away with it and figure something else out. As well as the whole neoliberal capitalism thing as well. No capitalism, because that's like, you know, if we do away with money, we do away with capitalism, because it's like really hard to do both, or really hard to do one and not, you know, and let capitalism keep going if there's no money. They'd probably find a way. We just got to do away with all of it.
And a lot of soldiers do it too.
Because they'd just trade in land.
Bases,
We'd just be back to feudalism.
They have plasma centers because the soldiers don't make enough in the army.
Like capitalism without the finance, without like the fake money aspect of it, is literally just feudalism.
So it turns out having a normal full-time job isn't enough to survive in these parts of America. And the blood banks know this, right? And once they realize that you rely on them to survive, they got you by the veins, right? And that's when they start messing with your income.
Do they pay all right? Like, what are the rates like?
Well, before they used to pay more, like about a year ago.
Yeah. And he was mentioning that the prices are like that they pay less and less as time goes on. Or that
they kind of do.
Now, the scariest part for us was the fact that draining that amount of blood that frequently has some really adverse health effects. And it makes it much harder to do your full-time job.
And I was working at Macy's, and as soon as I got to work, I felt lightheaded and fainted. That was like when I was like 21.
For this reason, most countries only let you donate once a month. But you can do it every 48 hours.
Finance is still mostly determined by land ownership anyway, but also, you know, money has taken its own sort of life. But also, don't discount, money aside, resources and, you know, things that people have worked on, like buildings and whatnot. You don't need a bunch of land to have like some really valuable buildings and shit. There's like a word for, you know, access to tools that people need to do their jobs and stuff. There's like a fucking... there's a word for that. They call it something. You know, what do they call it? The mean guys, the mean men, bad guys. They're bad.
Yeah, and you're only allowed to donate once a month in Australia.
Once a month, yeah.
So it's like quite different here.
Do you have any thoughts about it?
I don't know why they do that.
This is honestly really fucked up. And it doesn't stop there. For an extra cruel twist.
The means of productioning producing, the means of productizing.
Company, Octapharma, like many of the blood plasma
The
giants,
means of
are actually
making
Australian
products.
companies based in Australia, run by Australians, like CEO Paul Perrault of CSL Plasma, pictured here posing next to a mirror to prove to the world that he's not a vampire. You see, the laws in Australia mean that these horrible companies can't make a profit at home, so instead they just suck all the blood out of poor people in America, where there isn't any government regulation. And these are genuine, hardworking people. They haven't done anything wrong, and they're being abused. It's heartbreaking. Then we remembered, we don't have to care. We're rich YouTubers, right? Like, sure, these guys are, destroying their bodies for $30 a pop.
Subscribe to Atlas VPN, you fucking bastards. We don't fucking care.
The more important part is that we can buy their blood for $8,000 and be young forever. Now, ever since Ambrosia's success story,
I could buy their blood and then dangle it in a bag in front of their faces.
copycat businesses popped up, and there's really no shortage of places to get young blood transfusions in the US. But finding a place wasn't the problem. To be honest, the problem was that we were too scared to, inject ourselves with 2 liters of someone else's blood.
I wonder why.
So at this point, our video would have been over.
Well, I gotta refill my water. I'll be right back.
Then we came across a vampire longevity procedure that was so batshit insane that backing out an opportunity like this was impossible.
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with.
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
Whoa! Whoa. Excuse me? All right, we gotta go back. I'm sorry. I got up to go refill my water, and something happened. Whatever he was talking about, I didn't expect it to be some big reveal when he was talking about, like, oh, we found a treatment that was so insane.
Came across a vampire longevity procedure that was so batshit insane that backing out an opportunity like this was impossible.
It's so insane to me that, like, it's like, fucking, yeah, look at these graphics. We got, like, the Fruit du Jour Arrow fucking Ellen intro with the fucking, like, Pink song playing in the background. Yeah, I inject fucking baby blood that we harvest from baby dicks. Like, literal Alex Jones shit that she's like, yeah, we do this. It's like, that's so cool. Fucking, anyway, you want to hit that whip and nay-nay with me on stage, Sandra?
Talk about this facial that you're obsessed with.
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away.
She's trying so hard to make it seem like they aren't harvesting like baby dicks right now or something, like from people in the global south. Like, that's what it seems like. Or I guess what she said, Korean or something. I don't know. Far, far away. A young person, a piece of skin. like you mean they're harvesting baby dicks? Well,
they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
I call it the penis facial, and I think when
what?
you see how good it is.
No. And there are people who will tell you that, like, there's still going to be people to this very day posting the picture of the satellite imagery at night of Korea, North and South, and like, look at how many lights South Korea has. Isn't it this excellent bastion of freedom and a stalwart defense against communism? And no, like, guys, this is... Do you know what's going on there? Like, K-pop was bad enough. And now I find out about this? What is happening? Is this real? How is this allowed? Why is she talking about this? Like, how could you publicly be like, yeah, I like to get Korean infant penis facials. They harvest their foreskins and turn it into a cosmetic product that I put on my face. Like, how could you proudly say that? That's how, like, detached from reality celebrities are at this point. Like, it's just this little thing I do. It's like, you know, it's like how I would talk about, I use, like, hyaluronic acid serum, which, like, hyaluronic acid is oftentimes harvested from rooster comb, the fucking red bit on the top of their heads. That's, like, one of the ways that they found how to, early on in its sort of industrialization, that's how they figured out how to harvest it. I think they do it differently now, but she's talking about a Korean baby dick facial the same way that I would talk about hyaluronic acid. On daytime television, sitting next to Ellen. Like, when you see, like, the results of wealth inequality like this, and it's just, like, proudly being broadcast on daytime television, and then we also pair that with the complete atomization in America and the West more broadly of any sort of communal element, and boil everything down to, like, money, what you have, and, like, what your fucking job is. That's the only sense of community you get. And if you're poor, like, you're dirt. And all of this, like, if you have all of that, and then there's no mechanism through which to, like, adequately radicalize people in the right direction, to the left, where there's, like, actual reasonable critiques and, like, an explanation for why this happens and what we can do to stop this sort of thing. If instead effectively the only legal counterculture to this that doesn't, get taken off the air, like what gets funded as well, like hyper right-wing shit also just gets more funding, because at the end of the day, it simply reinforces this system. When you don't have a leftist media apparatus to steer people in the right direction, you wonder why people turn to people like fucking Alex Jones or, like, fall down these right-wing rabbit holes. It's like, well, that's the only hole there. We live in a society that looks like Swiss cheese, and all the holes that haven't been plugged up go to the right. They don't, like, they don't let leftists get radical enough before they just fucking kill them, They don't let people organize anymore. The fucking Supreme Court and shit has completely stripped away one of the most meaningful mechanisms for the left to organize, which is, unions. And, like, so what do we fucking do? There's nothing, like, there's only so much we can do. It's like, no wonder people fucking fall into right-wing conspiracy theory bullshit. Sandra Bullock is on Ellen talking about putting baby dicks on her face on daytime television. A cis woman can talk about her baby dick skincare routine and it's totally fine. But, like, I'm just trans and use regular health, like, care and skincare products, and I'm the fucking groomer, and I'm the fucking predator. What the fuck is going on?
To your face, you too will run to your local facialist and say, give me the...
We don't have a facialist, Sandra. What the fuck is a facialist? I'm poor! Sandra, we're poor! I'm gonna fucking cry, dude. This is awful. This is doing immense amounts of damage to my brain right now.
These weren't just young people, they were babies. And it wasn't just their blood, it was their goddamn penises injected into your face. It's insane.
They're injecting it? Oh my fucking God. It's not just a topical thing. They're injecting it? No wonder he looked like that at the beginning of the video. Okay, I get it now.
Everyone was doing it. It's the kind of thing that
I also thought Sandra Bullock was, like, a pretty good looking lady. She's hot. I didn't have any reason to dislike her. I will never look at her the same way again. I can never watch a movie with her in it because I'm just gonna be like, she gets the foreskins of Korean babies injected into her face, and then people are gonna look at me like I'm fucking insane, and then I'm gonna have to pull up this clip of her on fucking Ellen talking about it. Like, people are gonna look at me like, oh no, oh, Joan's gone down the rabbit hole. Oh God, she's talking about Sandra Bullock. Everybody loves Sandra Bullock. She's talking about Sandra Bullock injecting Korean babies' foreskins into her face. And I'm going to be like, no, it's real. And then they're going to put me in a fucking straitjacket. Meanwhile, there's a clip on YouTube of her talking about it on Ellen. Oh my God. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm losing it. I can't do this. What the fuck is happening?
Let's do this. Now, these baby penis procedures aren't just evil and demonic. They're also very expensive and very exclusive with a really long wait list. Luckily, I'd already been in contact with the Korean baby.
Sake, it is so hard for me to not, say something that's going to get me banned. Because, fucking gender ambiguity! Hollywood should not fucking be there. Chat, Hollywood, if this is what they're doing over there, it's got to go. I don't know how. Fly it off like that city in fucking Borderlands. Just fucking send it into the air on some rockets or something. Just have it floating up there. And nobody's allowed to get in or out.
Baby penis clinic when I was back in Australia.
Have it fucking teleport to another fucking dimension.
I think came to you guys to do the Korean baby penis facial.
Yeah, we have it.
Is it made from?
He's calling a spa that does this shit, like a facial fucking clinic, and is like, do you guys have? Hello, hi. Yeah, do you guys have the baby penis facial? And she's like, yeah, we have some of that in stock. As if this is a normal exchange. As if this is a normal thing that you would ever, in any place of business as a receptionist, that you could have an answer to that question and not hang up immediately. What the fuck is going on?
From foreskins? What is the...
Yeah.
Ah!
This is basically, we integrate the microneedling.
Microneedling! They microneedle it into you!
To be expensive, but I wasn't expecting it to be painful and bloody. She explained to me that they essentially force the baby penis deep into your face with needles for about an hour, cutting up your face in the process.
It penetrates deep. It really penetrates deeper into the skin. Again, it's up to 40 times.
This is distressing. This is like I feel like I'm dreaming right now. I feel like this is a nightmare. Like, if it weren't for every other aspect of this feeling so fucking real, I feel like I would wake up and be like, on Twitter, just like, I'd pull my phone off the bedside table and be like, I just had the weirdest fucking dream. I dreamt I was streaming, and I dreamt that I got 2 hours into a stream. Just the whole time felt so real. Felt like it was just a regular day where I was streaming. And then we watched this video. I think it was Boy. And at first it was about like just blood transfusions and shit, and about the weird guys who get like young people's blood put into their body. And then like 15 minutes into it and 2 hours into my stream, all of a sudden we find out that like Sandra Bullock is on Ellen talking about microneedling baby penis foreskin from Korea into her fucking face. And everybody in chat was losing their minds. I was yelling at the screen and everything. And then I woke up. And here I am. But it's real. This is happening right now. Is this happening? Like, am I here right now?
Name of science. I booked an appointment and I was ready.
No, if you're microneedling, well, I don't know like what how effective that is. Maybe it works for you. I don't fucking know anything about it. This is a unique form of microneedling. Not all microneedling is microneedling baby penis into your fucking face. If you're using patches that you bought at the fucking CVS or something, one, get over yourself, poor. Okay, because as they clearly stated, this is a very exclusive technique that costs thousands of dollars and is very rare and very exclusive to very wealthy celebrities. So if you're not paying thousands of dollars for this, you're out of your, position in society to be even asking, oh, have I been doing this? I don't know. Like, did you spend an entire year's worth of my rent on it? If not more, then probably not.
To inject some baby penis and be young forever.
I got children's penis in my face.
Yeah.
I still haven't done it. I could just not do it.
No, you have to do it now. They've already chopped off a baby's penis for you. You don't want them to, you want them to go to waste. So.
Oh my god.
Is it alright if I make a noise?
Try not to move too much.
This is why he looks so blotchy. Was his skin reacting to this? I wonder how it looks like a few days out, because there are certain skincare procedures that they look really bad right after you get it done. Laser, for one. Laser hair removal. Or like when you do the laser resurfacing. There's a similar thing. Like, it's going to look really bad the next day. He's getting the penis surgery? No, he's getting penis microneedled into his face. This is not a surgery. This is not a surgical procedure. He's simply getting injected into his face. All right, that is different. This is insane, though. It's insane that he got this.
That wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was when she took out the special machine.
Oh, this is where the microneedling happens.
My face.
This is probably actually what would have any effect. This is just like a very aggressive exfoliant, I guess. As well as, like, it may have some other properties. I don't know. Like, if you're microneedling, that's probably what has these celebrities, like, looking so good. I would be willing to wager it has very little to do with the baby foreskin that is in this fluid.
Oh my god.
You're doing well.
After another half an hour, she was done. And I was kind of relieved for a few hours.
It triggers blood flow by tricking your skin into feeling it has been cut, I think. Okay. Oh my god, no, actually, okay. Like, here's the thing. There's never a procedure that, you get where you get, like, boils. This guy has actual, like, blisters and boils. Laser resurfacing, I don't think, even in, like, unless it's a very severe circumstance, I don't think you're ever going to have that. So I think this is not a good outcome. Maybe an allergic response. I don't know why they wouldn't test for that first. But I guess since this is not like a FDA regulated thing, it's not a medical procedure or whatever, they have no responsibility to make sure you don't have an allergic response to this, especially considering how expensive it is. They're just going to take your money and run. And so here it is. Like, he looks bad. He looks worse than I would expect someone, even if you had, like, an aggressive procedure done that would eventually heal into something maybe done. Better than this. That would look better than this. This is a bad outcome.
It hurts.
It's actually insane that, like, it had this effect. Like, that is just perfect for the video. That is perfect for this content. That, like, not only did he go and do this, but it also turned out, like, catastrophic. Like, I'm concerned for his skin long term. Like, it may take years for his skin to fully, like, recover from this, for all I know.
It hurts to smile. Like, I'm so tight, and, like, I feel like my face is just, like, full of water, and it stings. I just feel like I got a really thick face.
Well, yeah, you got a bunch of stuff injected into there. Like, it literally all the fat in your face has been, like, injected with additional fluid and then pounded with needles and shit. So yeah, that's exactly what's happening. You do have more fluid in your face, and also blood is rushing to your face because of the microneedling process. Like, this is probably, like, so much water volume is being added to your face after something like this. Not to mention the foreign element there, like the fact that it's from Korea. No, I'm kidding. No, it's like an outside thing you're putting in your body. Like, this isn't just microneedling. You're injecting shit from the place in your face. You're just injecting shit that's like not FDA approved. You're just fucking putting it in your face.
Has really bad sunburn or has the plague.
I can't even go outside though, because I have to put sunscreen on this, but I don't want to. I can't touch my.
Isn't this how your face is supposed to look after this procedure? I don't fucking know. I feel like
younger. I don't notice any.
I feel like, hopefully not. I don't know if this is how it's supposed to look right after the procedure. I would question whether it's worth getting.
Difference really. A week later, I'm still kind of red, and my skin is really dry and flaky. But
well,
the only
moisturize.
difference I notice is that sometimes I hear these strange voices.
Foreign skin. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say though, a week later, skin do be looking kind of glowing. He just needs to moisturize. He'd be great.
Like, I lay awake at night thinking,
looks pretty good.
Doing this procedure, having a baby's penis in your face.
The recovery was quick.
That makes you a pedophile, right?
It's
anyway,
weird.
I didn't feel
it's weird. I don't know, like, how do you get the idea to do this? How do you get approved to create this product? Like, and then how is it then legal to like import, and like, how does this happen? This is just like, so there's so much has to be wrong with the world in order for like this to be institutionally not illegal.
I didn't feel any younger. Like, the only thing I felt was disgust, disgust about spending so much money to ingest a part of a vulnerable human being's body. It's
like,
weird.
I think that like usually, granted, I've got a little breakout on my chin right now, but that's just because like I eat sloppy, greasy foods and then don't wash my face and shit. Like my skin looks pretty good. I don't, if you ignore the few little blemishes I got down here, then like I don't inject fucking baby foreskin into my face. I'm 26, right? My skin looks okay. I don't do that. You don't have to do this. Nobody has to do this. I don't even know if it had like any. I would need to see a before and after, and evaluate. Even then, if this had like any effect whatsoever. But even if it did, even if it was like, oh, look at how beautiful my face is now. Like, okay, it should be illegal. What? Yeah, like if like actual virgin sacrifice worked to like beautify and invigorate your youth or whatever, I still think that should be illegal. Like, just because it has a good effect on you doesn't mean that I think it's good. So, like, even if this did have an effect, it shouldn't happen. Ugh. Part of why my skin is looking so good lately is because I started plucking my mustache hairs and stuff, and it's actually like some of them started to grow back a little bit, but it's way easier to maintain once you've already done it. Okay, and I was lucky to have the twink genetics that I do, where like I didn't have like a full beard or whatever. Lord knows I couldn't afford laser. So I was like trying to figure out what my solution for my, the little bit of stubble and whatnot that I get. Like, what do I do about that? And so I just like sat down last week, plucked everything. Sat down, plucked everything. And just had to repluck yesterday, and it was way easier to maintain because there was like way less hairs and they were way thinner, way smaller. And yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Got another light right here. You can see if you want to see what my face looks like right now, what my skin look like. What's the skin doing? What my face looks like when it's lit from both sides. I am not injecting baby foreskins. That's for sure. Okay, just take estrogen and do healthcare. I keep wanting to say healthcare. Just like do a basic skincare regimen. I don't even have like a bunch of expensive products. The most expensive thing I use is Paula's Choice liquid exfoliant. And that's like probably like fucking $30, $40 or whatever for a thing that lasts you several months. Everything else is just like, I just fucking wash my face. Not even as often as I probably should. I wash my face like once a day. And then I put on I put on that liquid exfoliant, usually in the evening, though I did it in the morning today. And then I do like a little bit of a hyaluronic acid serum. I got like a really cheap one just to see how it would work, and it seems to be working pretty well. I got like a cheap hyaluronic acid serum, and then I have a moisturizer. That's it. That's it. That's all I do. I do a sunscreen if I'm going to be outside for an extended period of time. I don't currently have an eye, sort of any eye product right now. I have used eye creams in the past, but I don't have one in my routine currently. You know, I'm trying to cut costs on my shit, so I just, you know, moisturizer, whatever. Fucking just like wash your face and shit. You don't need to inject Korean baby foreskin into your face to look like youthful and all that. Stay hydrated. Like, stay hydrated and like wash your face and shit. And hopefully, if you don't have any like conditions that would make that more difficult, if you're just like baseline, don't have any health complications with regards to acne or your face or whatever, then you should be fine. Anyway, let's go back to the video.
Been pretty straightforward, right? That there's no living wage or social
The way I
safety
deal with sun damage is never go outside. Same. Me too. Rarely go outside, all right? I probably get a grand total of like, I don't even know, probably 5 hours max per week, and that's just from when I like walk JoJo and stuff outside. It's like significantly less than an hour a day. Probably closer to like 3 or 4 hours a week outside at all.
So this lack of regulation and abundance of poor people means that the rich
that probably includes driving, like being near a window.
Actual vampires and feast on the blood of their fellow
I live in a
citizens who
cave.
weren't as fortunate. But it turns out that very same lack of regulation means that these expensive blood procedures don't do anything, you know, apart from potentially killing you, right? Literally everyone's getting scammed. And while people like Alex Jones will tell you that there's this satanic cabal of powerful freaks that drink the blood of babies, you know, he's not wrong, but I feel like all his mythical language kind of hides the fact that there's nothing particularly abnormal or freakish about these vampires. Like, they're just another symptom of capitalism functioning exactly how it was designed to function. And I think it's worse than a satanic cult, because at least when you make a deal with the devil, that guy holds up his end of the deal. You know, you get superpowers. But when you do horrible, satanic crimes for the god of capitalism, you get nothing. Literally everyone gets scammed.
Thanks for watching, guys. None of this would be possible without the Patreons. Obviously, my face is destroyed, and I'm very scared, and I feel horrible. But you know, I wouldn't be able to afford this expensive procedure without you guys. So if you want to jump on board, it's $5 a month. You get a free video every month, and you personally.
The sun is good if you have oily skin like me. No, like the sun is never good for your skin. Just because it dries the oil up a little bit does not make it good for your skin.
Injuring myself for views.
There's nothing that makes UV rays long-term good for your skin. Just want to like clarify that for everyone in chat. Do not listen to that.
Get on there.
Healthcare professionals would not advise of that. Granted, I am not one. Anyway, speaking of healthcare professionals,